How do you sit in between? That's what we're going to discuss in today's podcast. And as always, before we begin, the purpose of this podcast is to invite you to be curious about yourself, your life, and the world that you live in. So come in open mind, grab a pen and paper, it's recommended, and let's dive in. And that's one of the most asked questions I get, I suppose, when it comes to manifesting, when it comes to intentional living, when it comes to creating your own idea of the good life, when it comes to achieving your goals, when it comes to all of those things. Because here is the thing, achieving goals isn't always cruisy and happy. Firstly, you have to bloody move out of your comfort zone. You have to choose a different way. You have to look at your world and look at your experience and say, okay, I've done this now, but actually I would love to freaking experience something incredible, or I would love to experience more of this, more money, more love, more fun experience, more opportunities. I would love my business to flow this way. I would love my relationships to be this way. I would love this thing to happen really easily. I would love to create this experience, have this car, have this home, have this, whatever this is for you. And this is why I always start with a question. Go back to episode 1 of the podcast. What is your idea of the good life? Because when we're talking about creating what it is that you want, there's always an in between. Sometimes it's called the messy middle, because you are fuck shit. Literally going, oh, holy, ooh. When you're sitting going, okay, so I've put my intention out there. I've chose this thing. This is what I want to manifest. This is what I want to create in my life. This is the experience I want. But on the other side, the flip side, the contrast, you're going, what the hell? I've never done this before. How do I translate this? How does this even happen? And then our human gets in the way, and we get sidetracked, and we get in that messy middle, and we get into the fear zone instead of the love, and we get into the trying to figure it all out, the logic of the human, instead of trusting in the inspired idea that we've been given, that we've called in. And this is what happens a lot of times, and this this is where I get it. Like, I be sitting at times going, okay, so I've called in this goal, or this is how I want the experience of my life to be. This is what I choose to call in now. And my logic comes in and human hijacks me at times, and it's like, no, but Donna, cop yourself on. And sometimes humans will say to me, where's your head at? Like, what are you doing? Or how do you ever think that that's going to come? And I have to decide, and you have to decide for you, well, where did that idea come from? How does that feel in the heart? Like, it just didn't come out of thin air and all of a sudden you really want this thing. It's a longing, it's a feeling, it's something that you know within, that you are remembering, that you actually want to experience. And so when we allow other people to decide and tell us and try and put us off and say, but that's not here, how's that going to happen? How are you ever going to do that? That's not realistic. Grow up, get a job, cop yourself on. I've heard all this bullshit time and time again. And over the years, I've made a practice, a habit, a new behavior of shut her down, swipe left. I choose to ignore the naysayers because they do not know what I know. And I know I live by the manifest and universal laws of attraction. There is a law to this. There is a rhythm to this. There is a way of attracting what you want. Your story is unwritten. Your vibration, your energy that we are all connected to in this quantum field, it goes where our most dominant thought comes from. Our thoughts are ideas housed in the subconscious, in the heart, that key. When you get an inspired idea, because part of you is spiritual, when you pay attention and ignore, swipe left with all the excuses of why it couldn't, when you allow your magnificent, your infinite being to come in, that beauty of who you are, when you allow that, when you pay attention to that and say, okay, if I change my perspective on this, what if this was my soul calling and saying, Donna, you're meant to experience this. Yes, you're allowed to experience being a best-selling author. You're allowed to experience living back in a country that you loved before. You are allowed to experience this experience with a partner with the qualities that you've called in. You're allowed to experience being a business owner. You're allowed to experience all this stuff, but you have to move out of your comfort zone, and you have to choose to hold on to that idea. You have to choose then to feed it, to feel into it. You have to choose to act on it. You have to choose to pay attention intuitively and say, where am I being guided to go? What action am I being guided to do? Am I being guided to feed myself, to nourish myself with these ideas? What am I guided to just sit and let go and allow more ideas to come? Not on my timeline, not on my watch, not on my checklist of do X, Y, and Z in the masculine human form energy, but I have to balance my masculine action taking energy with my pause and reset and being present in my feminine flow energy, because this is where we come from, masculine and feminine, all of us. We have to be in alignment with that flow of both to bring our manifestations into form, to bring our goals into form, to achieve what we want to experience and achieve, to take it to the next level, to take it to the next experience. And so when you go back to that question, think about, how can I be more comfortable sitting in this messy middle? How can I be okay sitting in this discomfort, in this, I feel the need to move to action, to do something, to do something human, because that's what I'm programmed and conditioned to do. How do I sit in this feminine? How do I drop the resistance? How do I just be okay? My tip for that is reset. Drop your energy. Practice sitting in the power of just being present with you, with now. Be okay just sitting and asking for guidance. Have a pen, about a paper. Vomit out all the noise, all the conditions, all the conditioned responses of I have to act, I have to do, I have to send an email, I have to take an action, I have to walk, I have to pound the pavement, I have to ring 100 people. Whatever your idea and belief is, that is what is going to form your goals achieved. That is what's going to leave things dead at the doorway. And this is the thing. You have to learn to be okay, dropping that resistance and just sitting in this ease, this flow, this fun. Make this a part of your practice. Shift from the messy middle to the confident middle, to the knowing. Get used to how your human body feels. Get excited about the being of this, embodiment of this. Use your imagination to say, okay, my goal achieved. Where am I? Go to your end, as Neville Goddard always said. Feeling is the secret. Practice sitting in this space. Practice sitting in the feeling. Practice closing down your eyes and visualizing, where are you when this goal is achieved? How do you feel? What are you wearing? What is your experience? What relief comes from this? What excitement? What joy? What additional confidence? What happens for you in your world when your goal is achieved? Because I can promise you, the more time that you give yourself permission sitting in this ease, being okay in this uncomfortable, not okay human scenario, this is the alignment, this is the being, this is the embodiment of your wish fulfilled. This is the embodiment of your goal achieved. the more you can practice this, the quicker you bring your goals into form. So that is my reminder to you today. Be uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable. Is that a thing? Be okay being uncomfortable. That is the thing. That is the message. So I hope this helped you today. It's something that intuitively I felt like I needed to share. So yeah, if this helps you, then yeah, send me your thoughts, send me your ideas. If you have any questions, reach out. And if you find it helpful and you know somebody else is always in the messy middle of their goals, send them this as a gentle reminder that they're exactly where they're meant to be